Life is full of many great and big questions, but this week we've got some of the other questions, the smallest, silliest, and perhaps the dumbest questions. We don't know because we opened it up to you, dear viewers, and said you can ask us anything at all. And you came through as you do because me and my buddy Mark here from the Tesla Life, we love to answer questions. Apparently, I've decided, and that's what we're going to do. I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Ozza. So, Mark, you know that I put this out there a couple weeks ago and reiterated, and our viewers are so good. They're so good. They get it. They get it sometimes better than we do because I didn't know what I was in store for. I had an idea. I wasn't sure, but they came through in fine fashion. So let's take a look at the top 5 questions and go through them, and we shall see how they went. Starting right here. This is a great one. What is the best compromise model between cost and range? What do you think?
What is the best compromised model between cost and range?
Let's start by saying not the Plaid.
Yeah, that's the other end of the spectrum, isn't it?
That is a uncompromising, non-compromised kind of vehicle.
I would say it's got to be their base Model 3. It's got to be
the rear-wheel drive is the value, but it's been discontinued. So if you're looking for, it depends on what your definition of a compromise is. I'd say even the Model Y, the base Model Y, is kind of the best of all worlds. You got good cargo and good value. That's why it is the best-selling car in the world. You know what I'd love to see is the breakdown of which model is the best selling, because I'm going to guess the best selling Tesla worldwide is the Model Y long range. What do you think?
Yeah, it is. Based on it being the world's best selling car, I got to believe that it's doing better than the Model 3. So definitely it is the number one.
There is a spider on my camera. I don't care for that. Now there's a spider near my camera
and wandering around the table.
That's a little bit. All right, that's cool. So welcome to my world, everyone. Again, my office is pretty much out in the wild. Hi, I asked 3 questions on another video, so I guess they didn't count as questions. So as a reminder, we'll do this again next week because I think this is working and it's fun. We're answering the top 5 questions as sorted by YouTube's default sort. So if you see someone else's question that you like, please upvote it. Go through all the questions that are here. Go through the comments, interact with them. Definitely not a trick to drive up engagement. It's a valuable exercise, I've decided. Number 1, Autopilot. What stack is it on? And when will it be updated? So that's already 2 questions. We're only on question 1. What stack is it on? Well, this question made more sense a week ago, but I think it's still a valid question. I don't know what stack it's on. Do you?
Now, Autopilot is the original. So I think that Autopilot still hasn't changed since FSD's been updating. So is there an Autopilot number? If there is, I have no idea what it would be.
I am same boat. I don't know. I also don't know why it matters. Autopilot works really well, and it is being rolled into the full stack. So when will it be updated?
2 weeks.
That's underway.
2 weeks.
Mark has the deadline. He's got it. And when will it be updated? Imminently. Yeah, 2 weeks. Number 2. Really 3. What's the status of the China Megapack factory?
Yeah, that was just in the news lately with a milestone of the build. They're getting it done quickly. No surprise, it's being built in Shanghai, and it's well on its way. I figure it's going to be done in under a year from when it started.
Absolutely. They said something like 60% done. My belief, my understanding from having looked at it quite a bit, we did a show about it on, I want to say Tuesday we published it with myself, Randy Kirk, Matt Smith, Bradford Ferguson from Rebellionaire, and Brian Wang from Next Big Future. And we are of the mind that it'll be done end of year. It'll begin shipping in Q1 and should be to about 80% ramped by the end of 2025. So it is moving real quick. And number 3, what's the status of the Lithium project?
Is this the project in Texas that
it has to be?
They broke
Corpus
ground?
Christi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that one was from scratch, as most of these are. I don't have that's a good question. What is the date for completion? I don't know.
The bigger question to me, because completion can mean completion of the site, not completion of production. They're doing something new out there. They've got some new methods, some new process or procedure that they believe will reduce the cost of lithium refinement. Does it work at scale? We don't even know. It could be like 4680, where it takes years to come online. That plan was announced when lithium prices were soaring. Lithium prices have since collapsed. I think the urgency is reduced. I think the biggest benefit would be restoration of the battery, of the mineral sourcing requirements for the IRA in order to get the $7,500 credit. Yeah. But I think it's a lot less urgent than it was. Lithium had a bit of a speculative boom.
But it could also be that the lithium process could be valuable in the future. Even if there isn't a spike, if you're able to speed it up, if you're able to compress the timelines, that's always valuable in whatever business you're in. So
absolutely,
R&D
and insulate yourself from market fluctuations. Yeah, because while the price of refined lithium can fluctuate quite a bit, the cost of the raw materials is likely to fluctuate less. Question for you, Mark, just a quick question. What do you think of the necessity of the U.S. restricting Chinese software, data gathering in the U.S., etc., related to EVs? Is it a legit concern or a means of restricting Chinese sales in the U.S. between the two countries, to which I would add, and Canada's looking to do the same, aren't they?
Yeah, we are. It's not a surprise that we're in step with the U.S. on this, because our industries are aligned, quite aligned, through our free trade deals and such. But with this software, is it a real thing? Yeah, it's a real thing. The Chinese even argued on their end over a year ago that they were concerned about where the data was going from Tesla cars. In fact, so much so that they blocked Tesla vehicles from being on government and military sites because they didn't want the possibility that the car could share data outside of China.
I would say the concern is real. Is it a problem today? I don't think so. But I can't say for sure. And moving forward, yeah, this vehicle has GPS. It has a transmitter. It has a lot of cameras. And that's true of all new connected cars. I think the concern is real. Is it a way to further keep Chinese cars out of the U.S. market? That would definitely be an impact. I don't think it's the primary one. I don't think the powers that be are quite that clever. But who knows? Maybe they're incompetent geniuses. Stranger things have surely happened. None jump to mind. Here we are already at question 3, despite question 2 being a 3-parter. Let's jump to question 4. I think this is question 4. Could Tesla build an EV van that seats at least 9, gets 350 miles of range with all seats occupied, tows a trailer weighing at least 5,000 pounds, the approximate weight of a small travel trailer, has a strong roof with rack to carry canoes, etc., center steer-by-wire driver's seat, heat pump that will be effective? Now, by the way, you notice I kind of cut it there?
Yep.
Yeah. Would you like to guess why? This isn't even the entire question.
My.
My.
This is
You,
an
you know,
easy question to answer, Brian. Even though it's lengthy, it's very detailed, but you can see it starts with the word could.
yeah. Well, there's your answer.
And the answer is yes. Yes, it could be done. Yes. Will
Yes.
it be
But
done?
you're asking, yeah.
But that's a completely different question. And the answer is probably no. But
No.
the word could certainly allows us to say yes on this is the answer to this question.
Yeah. What they're describing, 9 seats, plus 5,000 pounds of towing, all 9 seats full. I mean, that's a ton right there. Plus another 2.5. So we're talking 4 tons of cargo. Oh, come on, man. Could they? Sure. Will they? Not in the foreseeable future would be my answer, because it's such a unique case. What you're describing sounds like the Tesla Semi.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not complaining about the question. I think, like all the questions, it is a good question. It is a real question, but we're here to have fun. So I apologize, Richard, if it comes across as poking you. It's not poking you. But there's a lot of people who say, because something doesn't fit my very specific use case, that EVs don't work. And I, of course, have to push back on that.
Even if
notion.
even if it was done, the question would be, what market would there be for it? How many people would actually buy it, and would it then make it profitable to make such a vehicle?
I know, and maybe Richard does as well. I know people who would love a vehicle like that. What they wouldn't love is the price tag.
Yeah.
And no matter, even if the price was reasonable, even if the price was less than a comparably, high capacity, high utility gas car, it doesn't mean that they would still have, like you just said, the volume to justify it. By the way, guys, see, I'm doing that because now I feel like, is there a spider on me? I don't know. A word of advice, folks, and I need you to hear me when I say this. If you ever feel a spider web when you're walking, just know that there is a spider in your hair. I've said it. It's just how life works. It's one of, you know that.
I didn't know this was the arachnophobia part of the podcast. I didn't know that.
It's the arachno reality portion of the show. There was, by the way, folks, in case you didn't know, this channel is mostly supported by patrons, folks on Patreon, YouTube channel members, ex-subscribers, and you can get $1,000 off your Tesla purchase if you use my referral code. And it's a pyramid scheme, because you only get to refer a new human being once. And I think Tesla will, in the future, run out of new customers, because everybody at some point will have gotten one. So get some whilst they hot. Only one more question to go. Of course, I refer to question 5. How can I be more like Brian?
Why?
No. That's a question. You have to answer it with an answer, not another question. Mark.
How can I be more like Brian?
Yeah.
Well, you got to get a lemon tree that's fake first. That's the first thing.
It's a good starting place.
Yeah, you need a spider now. Apparently, that's another thing.
A hair spider. That's what you need. Yeah. A camera, hair spider, so you can see it and then experience it. Yes,
exactly.
Well, you gotta get up early. Today I got up at 5:45 p.m. because I had to get a nap, because I got up super early for the delivery report, and I got up earlier still because my dog was having a moment, and he decided he needed to rub his face on my face while I was sleeping. And he's very lovey, but how can you be more like Brian? You ever see somebody and they've just got it all put together? And you're like, wow, that's amazing. And then you see the other guy who's just hanging by a thread. So anyway, good to see you. And of course, because it's because we're all about value here. If you really want to be like Brian, you answer a bonus question. Do you think it's a good idea for extreme off-roaders to be powered by hydrogen?
No.
No. I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna go with no. Well, what is your definition of extreme? Does it involve fire? Because that's extreme, bruh. I don't see it being. I mean, are you going to bring hydrogen with you to the outback?
You better, because you're not going to get it anywhere near the outback. So you got to bring it yourself.
But Mark, it's the most abundant element in the world.
It is exactly.
Yeah. And I'm thirsty. You know where I can find a bunch of water? The ocean. Water everywhere.
Not a drop.
Have a drink, my friend.
Yep.
Oh, not a drop.
Not a drop to drink.
You know, the card I had was partly torn, and now that you mention it, I guess that word had been inconveniently obscured.
Yes, so, indeed.
I don't think it's a good use case. Even if you had the ability to generate hydrogen, the amount of energy it takes is prohibitive. If you start with, 100 kilowatts, and you want to know how many of those get from the starting point to the wheels, with a battery, you're going to get 95, 97% of it. But if you start with electricity and then create hydrogen and then ship hydrogen and then put hydrogen into the vehicle, which is then turned back into electricity, you're down to like 35%. So if all vehicles were green hydrogen, you would need to triple the amount of power production that you require when you're dealing with just a battery. And for extreme off-roading, I don't see an advantage there, especially if we're talking actually extreme. The pressure vessel is not only very heavy duty and very important to safety, it also has a finite lifespan of about 7 to 10 years, after which time you are not meant to use that vehicle until the pressure vessel is replaced, and there is no process. I'm just going to go with no. No?
That's a simple no. Yep.
Can I get an amen? So guys, more questions. We will try this again next week. There were some we didn't get to. I loved them all, but there's only so many I can do. One I guess I did like is, what is the likelihood of BYD data partnering with Tesla to enter the US market? That's interesting. It would be a solution. I don't know if either company has the proper motivation to make it work. What do you think?
No, they do not. They do not have the motivation.
No. Guys, do me a favor, head over to Mark at the Tesla Life Show and see what they're up to. Everybody else, subscribe, stay tuned and juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots. I guess when we know what is going on at 10:10.
Got that, Spider.
If that spider walked to Canada, we have bigger problems, my friend.